Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new night point of view review. In front of us is the new Dacia Spring. So this is the, of course, fully electric. This is the facelift with the new logo, facelift of the 2021 model. So it's a 2023 model year, and this is the extreme package with the 65 electric horsepower. This is 48 kilowatts of power. Now here's the key. It's a physical key. I think this is the only electric car with a physical key. You have the unlock. I left the LEDs inside on because you can't turn them on until you start the car. So let me just do a little walk around. So we're sitting on 14-inch steel wheels. Fairly comfortable, I gotta say, very comfortable considering the car in general. And you can see the LED, bulb daylights. These are not LED, they look in design. Now what's interesting, they've saved on the back, you can actually see the interior. Now there's a street light here, but you can see slightly inside. It's probably too dark. There's a spare wheel, 300 liters cargo space, 620 if you knock down the seats in, and then if you I think like if you really lower the bench, like totally, you can have almost 1,000 liters. Now let me just show you one thing before we jump inside and take off. I'm gonna flip the switch because I can do that, so you can see the car from the front. So it has halogen lights also, so only the daytime running lights are LED, which doesn't make sense because they've could have lowered the power consumption with LED lights, but I guess maybe they're slightly more expensive. Okay, I'm gonna flip the switch to automatic and get rid of the little annoying sound. So physical key, put it in the cylinder there, and this is 1-speed automatic. You have this, and also you have physical parking brake. So only electric car with actual manual handbrake. Now let's turn on the car. So you turn the key all the way like in ICE cars, but there's nothing rumbling and no shaking. Over here, now let me just flip the switch on so you can have some light. Glove compartment doesn't have a light, and this thing's illuminate. There's like a speed limiter switch there. Actually, I'm just gonna flip it on, and I just want to show you here, this might not look the greatest, so I'm just gonna show you that you can see you can charge with a cable your smartphone, and let me just see, seatbelt is in the way. You can use, so my phone is charging, and Apple CarPlay. So you can see Apple CarPlay, the brightness is probably a bit too much, but you can use Apple CarPlay. If you unplug, it's gone. So I'm not going to be using that. I just wanted to show you that there is an option for using the Apple CarPlay, but I'm going to use the embedded navigation. Okay, so seatbelt back on, always safety first. I'm going to demonstrate some radio. Let me just put this back, and AC's off just so you can hear the speakers a little bit better. So I have to keep speaking, I can't play for too long, but now really good speakers for such a entry car. I gotta say, I'm actually quite surprised and pleased with that. You get this message if you want to open the navigation. So here's the embedded navigation, and I'm gonna turn on fan speed since it is summer, and to get some air inside. Release the parking brake before I switch to drive, just to show reverse camera. Reverse camera, I don't know if the brightness is okay or not, but it's decent, it serves its purpose. If you move the wheel, nothing happens. Now there's a parking sensors, you only have them on the rear. Okay, back to drive, and let's head out. So also let me just switch off the AC for a moment. Now you can see the pedestrian warning system. Car locks when you start driving. Now listen to this. When the pedestrian system turns off, or let me just slow down here. Listen to this. So it goes off. So you can hear the the electronic steering assist work. That's what I wanted to point out. So stop sign, and the B pillars are not too thick, and the windshield is taller, so I think it's good. And now I had to back up, lean backwards, the backrest of the seat, or the top part, because I'm just too tall and my view is being blocked by the by the roof. So if you think that this point of view, I'm talking to regular audience, a little bit different, maybe it's just because the fact that I'm so tall and this car is not made for tall people. Now, before I switch back the AC on, listen to this. Absolute silence. Love it. Now, pedestrian warning turns on when you start driving or reversing up to, 20-30 kilometers. You can hear the electric motor and the pedestrian system, and then it switches off at some point when I let go. You can see the deacceleration. There's like a pitch sound. So it has regeneration, and I believe it is with the electric motor. So this has front disc brakes, and the rear it's drum brakes. That's good for maintenance. It's more long-lasting on the back with the drum brakes, and saves you money as well. Now, regeneration is not big, and you can see the acceleration. At the end there's power button. Power on the digital speedo. I'm not sure why I said power button. There is no power button. It'd be cool if they added one. Now, when I deaccelerate, you can see blue, and there's like 3 of them, but there's a default, and you can't change it. So the car has a default setting, and you can't change it. Yeah. Now, let me just flip off this switch. I don't think I need that. Okay. So, this extreme package is exclusive with the now second option for the electric motor. Before you had only 45 horsepower version. This is the 65 horsepower version, 48 kilowatts of power, and it has a little bit better punch. Battery usable is 25 kilowatts. So when I charged the car to 100%, it gave me 205 kilometers of range. It should be 2020 by WVLTP, but I think also it depends on your driving style. You can maybe squeeze out a little bit more, but if it gives you 200 in summer, that's not that bad. Maybe in winter you're gonna have 50 less or a little bit more. That's what I've heard from one of the owners who had the 2021 model. So this is supposed to be stronger and improved version, with the new logo, of course. Now, also I gotta say, an overview in the car is excellent. In other Dacias and Renaults, for example, there was a big blind spot on the top here because it had those cameras. This car unfortunately doesn't have the lane assist, but because of that it gives you a better overview in the front. Windshield, once again, the B pillars are not too horrible. It is a tall windshield. It doesn't have a low profile, so it actually has good overview in the cabin. Even the side mirrors and the back in the middle mirror is excellent overview, excellent for parking. You can see the navigation here is very also useful. Tells you all the signs on the top. Now, steering, look at this. Whoa, the car is, it's all over the place. You got to be really gentle with this steering wheel. This steering wheel is not precise. It is too light for my taste, and you know, the car is tall, and it's still sitting tall, and it leans a lot. So if you're going fast in the corner and in the bends, you should be cautious. You should drive slow down, because this car leans, and it does have a battery, but it's not too heavy, and since it's tall, there's a lot of leaning, and you know, it's not super stable on the road at higher speed. So I would advise caution. If there's a wet road, you have very thin tires, so you know, have that in mind when you're driving. Don't be too fast in the corners. Now, suspension is actually quite surprisingly comfortable on the potholes, manholes, and speed bumps, but you have to slow down on the speed bumps, because on the back there's no multi-link. It's just like a torsion beam, I think, and it's gets a little bit rough if you don't slow down. It hits on the back. You can hear like a boom sound or something, but otherwise the car is really good, and you know, the ride comfort is quite decent for such a small car. Now, there are some cons, of course. Since this is a very light car and everything is hard plastics, there are sometimes, you can hear it now, like small rattling sounds. It might drive you crazy, might not, I don't know. I heard worse rattle sounds, but this is just due to the fact that simply you know, a budget car with a lot of plastic materials, and there's also not a lot of dampening material. Now, the car isn't too loud in the city speeds, but if you go to the highway, if you go above 100, you're gonna hear that when we get to the highway in a few minutes. But the car is just too loud at 130, and at 130 you're just using max juice, and you're gonna deplete the battery faster. So I would advise driving like 120 or 110, or maybe just keep it to 100 if you want to pull out more range with the AC on. Actually, now I'm driving without the AC. It's actually fine, but I'm just gonna turn it on. I'll switch the AC off, doesn't matter. I'll just need some air circulating through the cabin. But overall, you know, after trying this and spending a day with this car, it's not that bad. But I would say still, it's a nice pizza delivery car. This car is for businesses, an excellent car if you have food delivery or something similar to that, or if it could be a postal for the post office, like mail delivery car. You can, yeah, this would actually be good. That I saw, like in Croatia here, we have postmen driving some sort of funny electric cars. I'm not sure if they can pull 200 kilometers in one charge. I think it's more like something like 40, 50. But this would actually be a good car. Also, this car is sold in India under a different name. I forgot the name, but has like a different badge, but it's exactly the same car. It has a front radar, but I think it only tells you like the distance from other cars if you're too close. Not sure if it emergency brakes. And in 2021, when it was launched, it had only 1 star for safety on the Euro NCAP crash tests, but they just raised the bars for all the safeties, and this car just doesn't have the lane assist, some of the other features, and it just really scored bad. But overall, it is safe in case you get into the accident. So that's a little bit confusing for some people, but you know, you just have to understand that the safety score has changed. By the time they've actually released this car, it was, I guess, prepped for the previous that was less rigorous. This is a big manhole. I'm gonna pass through it. So very comfortable, and this is even bigger one. Okay, you can feel that one. That one was another one here, but very comfortable, and you know, Dacia is actually based on Renault technology, and you know, French cars always have soft suspensions. I love that about French cars. And you know, this is already a used technology, so the infotainment is from the previous, I think, 4th generation Clio. It's not that bad, you know. This is all proven technology, and it is older generation, but it's good. Now we're getting to the highway. Let me just see if I can speed up a little bit. Also, to tell you, if you speed from 0 to 100, it takes like more than 13 seconds. But there's so much torque that the front tires start like squeaking, and you start burning them slightly until it gets traction. So it's just telling you that it's a nice city car, and it's powerful for such a small commuter. Now there's some more rattling sounds. Yeah, see, oh, the car is bending. It's like starting to slide. So don't drive too fast in the bends with this car. Okay, full speed. I mean, full throttle, uphill, and there's that sound. I had this today. I thought it was something, but it just... Now this sound is annoying. I'm not sure where it's coming from. It is definitely annoying. It's some sort of plastic or sounds like electronic sound. Let's see if we can speed up to 130 at least. Have downhill, so you can hear the speed or the wind noise. Yeah, it takes time to get to 130, but you can hear the wind noise. It's quite excessive. I'm gonna just slow down. Rough asphalt, smooth one, rough. So you can hear some tire noise. This is a smooth part, and then rough part. If it's smooth, it's not that loud. But you know, this car ain't that bad. But for the most part, you're gonna drive it in the city, not on the highway. So, you know, even if you drive up to 100, it's actually not that bad. Now I'm gonna try to flip the switch for the, well, if I can find it. This is not safe. It's just too far to reach it. Now I flipped it on, and then I can well, it's a limiter, so I can limit the max speed. Now if I hold the throttle all the way, it's just gonna come to 100 and stop. So that way I'm not going over, and I know I'm driving at the speed I want. So there's no cruise, but the speed limiter just works the same more or less, so I guess that's okay. Yeah, I feel like even like going 100 is actually excessive. Let me see the power consumption here. Yeah, so we're spending 13 kilowatts. I think I filmed some B-roll and kind of left it idling with the AC on, so the power consumption raised, but I got it around 12.4, so like a 12 and a half. And the first person that tested the car before me, because the car has now 500 kilometers, I picked up with 300 kilometers, told me that, you know, gentle driving, he got 10 kilowatts of power consumption. And then I guess you get 12 to 13 if you're a little bit driving faster. So that's actually quite good power consumption in general. A very low power consumption. Now surprisingly, this car was third most sold car in Europe, talking about EV, of course, for private customers. So, you know, it's very interesting what government incentives that you can get. This was actually quite a good deal, but now with the inflation and with this new model, they raised the prices. So this is like the top spec you can get. It's actually, it was around 25,000 euros, but with few options it comes to 27,000 euros, and that's bit pricey for this car, to be honest. You can get a lot of cars. For example, you can get a used Tesla Model 3 now in Germany, like the standard range, which has more than 250, 300 range, almost on the highway. Okay, more realistically 250 or a little bit more, but still it's a completely, you know, premium car compared to this one. But as a used one, you can get it for like 30,000, even like maybe 28. So like 1,000 euros more and you get a Tesla Model 3. So I really don't get it, that their price is a little bit too much, I would say. Otherwise this would be a great car. And I know when they launched the car it was a lot cheaper, and if you got the incentive, this was a really cheap car. Like you would pay maybe 10,000 euros when you get the incentive back, and that was a bargain. Now not so much, but again, you know, this car makes sense if it's a cheap car, it's a delivery car, or just a city commuter. Now of course no car is perfect. Now considering this car's a budget, you know, it's a very good car, but it has one con, and that's for me personally a deal breaker. Since I'm such a tall person, the seats can only slide back and forward. The steering column cannot slide, or excuse me, not go inside outside, or you can raise it or lower it. And honestly, I can live with that, but the fact that you cannot lower the seat, it's too tall for me, or you have no lumbar support, the seats are just not comfortable. After spending a few hours today in the car, it's just painful for me. I have some back pain or like something in a hip. I don't know. It's, for me, comfort is everything in a car. And if you're driving or commuting in a car longer, I need to have comfortable seats. I can't get out of the car with a back pain or anything like that, especially if you're driving to work, or like driving this as a cab. I saw a lot of people driving this as a cab, or some as a delivery cars, and you know, it's just not practical. Let me just see something here. Okay, not sure if I flipped this off. Oh, I flipped it off now. Yeah. Now we're gonna check the performance of this halogen lights in pitch black outside the city in a moment. Well, we'll try to do 0 to 100. If there will be no traffic, but again, I think it was 13.7 if I correctly memorized that. So we'll see. But you might hear some tire noise. There's even traction off. You can turn off the traction, but I wouldn't want to do that. Since this car is so much leaning just because of the steering, I wouldn't want to turn off the traction, to be honest. Cool feature, not here, but when you're in the menu here, you can just press on the dark and you can see the menu. It just goes dark, and you can press here again and get that on. Yeah, okay, so it seems okay. No traffic so far. Long beam, this is the long beam. We're gonna show it outside the street light part. Okay, I think actually this is the slowest car 0 to 100 that I actually tested, but let's give it a try. Hopefully there will be no traffic there. So the brakes are actually also very good. I tried to use recuperation on all the cars, but this one's actually not that bad. And whoa, the brakes didn't like that when I let go, but there we go, we started. Still accelerating, not that bad, it just takes time. And there we go. Oh, let's see the brake performance. could be better, see? But okay, I have a similar diesel car with similar power, and I would say this is very similar in brake performance, even the acceleration, but this is instant because of the electric motor instead of shifting gears. But you know, it's good for the power we have here. Okay, so halogen lights, nice and warm. You know, good visibility. The beam is a little bit low though. Let me see, there was a fog light oh no, this is a switch where you can like lower the beam, but this is the highest at the moment. Okay, I'm just gonna stop here and show you the long beam. Quite good, not too shabby. Now let me take out the iPhone because the GoPro camera doesn't have a large sensor, so it doesn't take a lot of light in, so it doesn't really stand out in performance at night in this kind of environment. Okay, so to give you a little bit of perspective with the speedo, you can see the normal beam and then the long beam. So let me just come closer. Now this looks like it's cold light, but it's still warm light. It's just the camera, and you can see, well, it's a good performance. Definitely, you can see far out. Not something like Matrix or LED, but for halogen bulbs, this is actually quite decent. So trying to think if I've missed anything to mention. Yeah, okay, maybe another con, if you will, for practicality, or two. There is no light in the back cargo space, and they didn't make a front space either. I think they could have made a small one, but they just decided we're not gonna do that. And like in the glove compartment, no lights, so I think they could have added something like that. But the back seats cannot divide, like 60-40, none of that. So it's just like one big bench, you can fold it down. So like, you know, this car is actually really greatly equipped. You have the digital dash with all the trip computers, you have the navigation, AC, power windows. You know, it's really good, but if they added a few more extra details, it would be actually quite a good deal. Yeah, let me see here, navigation, and let me see here, destination, find on map. Okay, let me see if I can find something here. Well, I can't zoom. Oh, I can zoom like that. Okay, I want to go there. I don't know the address, but I know this. So, just press OK here.
After 170 meters, keep left.
Okay, that was loud.
After 100 meters, keep left.
Okay, thank you. How can I mute this? I don't know.
After 160 meters, enter the roundabout and take the second exit.
Well, I'd say the navigation isn't that bad. So, time for a thumbnail. Okay, I think that was good. Yeah, there are a few options. Okay, you can mute it here. So if you don't want to have sound, you can see that, and you can only have visual. So time to summon up the car. I gotta say, I was skeptical. I thought this would be actually a little bit less quality, and considering this is mostly for commuting in the city, it's actually very good. But I would say for one person, maybe two, the back bench is quite small. Maybe if you have a smaller child, be okay, but this is definitely a second car, not your primary car. It could be your primary car if you're on a budget, and you know, that's understandable, but you know, it's just not that bad. It speeds up nicely. 65 horsepower is enough for this size. I think 45 would be like a little bit underpowered, but this just feels okay, and you can enjoy the EV driving, the relax driving, no excessive noise, and if you have an outlet at home, you're actually saving a lot of money if you're charging on a night cheaper tariff. So that's actually not too shabby. Let's hope the future for EVs won't be having more expensive electricity prices, because if we have to pay for electricity same as we pay for gas now, that just makes no sense. The EV, the point should be that they're cheaper. If they're so expensive, they should be at least cheaper to drive and on maintenance. Of course, legacy car manufacturers like to rip off people on unnecessary service and inspections and so on, and they really charge a lot. I saw for another brand service invoice, and it was expensive. It was more than for my diesel car, and I drive a Tesla, and for Tesla there's just like no maintenance almost. Now if you're in Croatia, if you get to this garage, there's a charging option here. It's paid, but they're actually not too expensive. Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. So let me park here where there is some light, because the garage is at power saving mode. Actually, I think there is more light in the bottom garage. Actually, yeah, let's go at the bottom. And let me just lower the window down for you so you can hear the pedestrian warning. I just wish you can turn that off, honestly. In my Tesla, I enjoy the silence, the silent driving. Also, if you come to this garage, there's also on level 3 another 2 chargers, so there's 4 in total. Whoa, see, this car, I don't feel safe speeding and going to the bend. Whew. Yeah, there's better street lights, but I think at the bottom. So listen to when I speed up, when the pedestrian warning system goes off. Listen to this. Oh, now after 30, whew, it's just nice and silent. And let me just, I'm gonna floor it here. It's probably gonna squeak a lot, but let me just see if I can like floor it. That was kind of funny. Yeah. Well, I want to just show you the car. I'm just gonna leave afterwards, just to show you the car in good illumination, because the garage lights are now at the power saving mode, so half of them is off. You can see the backing camera is good. Let me just demonstrate that, but unfortunately you don't see the lines move with the steering wheel. And yeah, this car could use front parking sensors also. They were kind of saving on that. But yeah, that's it. I can talk a lot, so I'm just gonna end it here. We've spent maybe 10% of battery, and we've traveled, let me see, just here again, you can press this button. We've passed 45 kilometers, I think. Actually, I've maybe passed 1 when I was driving. You can see that the power consumption is now dropped to 0, even the AC is on. Yeah, interesting. So yeah, that's it. So I'll switch it off. Again, very nice, neat car. Don't forget your valuables like your smartphones and similar in the car when you leave it. And just to do a little walk around, I'm gonna just leave this on so you can see it, because it will turn off. And you can see this gorgeous color. I really like this combo. It's called washed stone blue metallic, and has this in the extreme package copper details that look quite nice. And yeah, definitely I like the new logo. That's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks, and I hope to see you in the next car review. Again, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell to get notified when I upload more reviews, and happy charging for all of you EV owners. See you in the next one.